Thursday, November 23rd, 2017, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So it's not Thanksgiving in the UK. We don't have a Thanksgiving holiday, but as most of my viewers are in the US, I'd like to thank them for supporting the channel and watching my videos. I hope I can keep the interest for the viewers, and I want to wish all the American viewers a happy Thanksgiving day and long weekend. So the markets still trade. You know, the Dow, for example, the Dow futures has been trading. So has the S&P and the Nasdaq. Even though all the other markets in Europe and in London will probably be a lot quieter today, people will probably take this as an opportunity to maybe even have like a year-end Christmas lunch in the offices in London. So it will be very quiet today and tomorrow, even though I think the markets reopen tomorrow in the US, but it will be very quiet. So what's happening this morning? Well, I'm going to talk about where the markets are. It's actually 12:30, in the afternoon, so it's not the morning anymore. But I'd like to talk about Ethereum as well. It's looking quite interesting, and the technical picture for Ethereum. So spot gold right now is at $1291.50. We've traded as low as $1287 and as high as $1293.70. So it's pretty much unchanged from the late close yesterday. COMEX. Spot silver 1711, down 3.5 cents. The range has been 1706 to 1719. So still big resistance there around 1725 in silver. Gold, of course, 1300. Before that, we need to get through this 1295 area, which is an old level that was resistance earlier this year. So the Dow is up a point, 23,528. It was down as much as 70 points earlier, down to 23,460. S&P 500, 2597. The range has been 2590 to 2599. So it's up a 1.25 point right now. The Nasdaq is up 4 points, 63.88. Currencies, the British pound is down 15 pips, 133.11. The euro is up 28 pips, or 0.25%, 118.50. And the dollar is virtually unchanged against the Japanese yen. We're at 111.20. Crude oil, 57.88, so down 12 cents. So Ethereum. Well, the reason I want to talk about Ethereum is that we touched a high earlier today of 400. Right now, let's see, Ethereum is at 392. And looking here at the chart, we had a high in June just around 400, and we had a high in the beginning of September just around 400. And it looked like a double top. Now, will it be a triple top, or are we going to see a breakout in Ethereum? And I would say that the technical target, if we do break above 400, could be around 550. So we could see quite a big move in Ethereum. What's Bitcoin this morning is at 8,159, so off the lows of the day of 8,092. In terms of ICOs, I like to just give an update on a few ICOs that I had sponsored videos for. The Change Bank ICO, that went pretty well. I entered the bounty program, and I actually received, a fair amount of the tokens, the Change Bank tokens, and they're quite valuable. So I did quite well on that, and I think it's a good token to look at, CAG. And also Publica ICO, which is the blockchain for publishing and reading online. They just finished their ICO, I think, like a week ago or so, I think, and they raised over $1 million. And I received some tokens as well yesterday. And actually, you know, the tokens were issued at 10 cents, but now in the Ether Delta, they're trading around 23 cents. So they've done quite well, the Publica ICO. The code for that token is PBL. It's called the Pebble token, PBL for Publica. So just a bit of an update there. And what else? Well, in the UK here this morning, my wife always puts on LBC radio. It's interesting listening to it, but I don't listen to it very closely because it annoys me. But they were talking about the budget today, how the Chancellor of the Exchequer or the Finance Minister or U.S. or Treasury Secretary equivalent, he came out with the budget, autumn budget yesterday, or fall budget, and he's raised the threshold for a stamp duty when you buy a property from £250,000 to $300,000. So you won't be paying any stamp duty now from, you know, up to £300,000 if you are a first-time buyer. So of a house, you know, they call it a housing crisis here. They're saying, you know, they always talk about how there's not enough housing, but they never, ever, I've never heard anyone in the mainstream or any politician talk about the fact that the reason why house prices are artificially elevated and high is because of the Bank of England policy of keeping interest rates near zero in order to allow the government to keep spending. And so how does that increase house prices? Well, it makes it more affordable to have a big mortgage. And that keeps house prices elevated. And as earnings in the UK haven't kept up with inflation and all the debt and house prices, you know, younger people can't afford to buy a property, you know, anymore. So that's the whole problem. You know, nothing that politicians propose are going to solve the problem, is going to solve the problems. This, with, you know, this stamp duty change, if anything, is going to help prices at the lower end. And in London, you know, 300,000 is lower end. You need, you know, at least 350 to buy, you know, something decent, and that would be outside the center of London, of course. But and the other thing as well, you know, they're talking about the budget, and people say, oh, who gained from the budget? You know, it's, for me, the best budget would be one that people wouldn't even care about, wouldn't even listen to, that a budget that wouldn't impact the economy because the government would be too small, and the budget would be something that wouldn't even be like headline news. But as the UK economy has become such a, you know, government-backed economy, socialist, you know, there's always going to be people who are going to benefit from the budget and people who are not going to benefit from the budget. It's like, you know, the old saying of taking from Peter to pay Paul. And that's what it's all about. And it's just to keep everyone divided. So that's what I have to say about the budget. Of course, you know, we live in this world. We can't avoid a lot of the things that government does. But in my experience, we need to, as individuals and families, to try to be the least dependent on the government as possible. So that, you know, the budget doesn't really affect you. It's very difficult, of course, but it's up to each individual and each family to decide how to do that. I'm not gonna, tell people how to live their lives, but that's what I try to do. Try to not be dependent on government largesse. Be self-sufficient. So, what else? No, that's about it. So, I wish all the American viewers have a good day. Enjoy the turkey, and the family into football as well, American football. That's a big thing for Thanksgiving. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and you can also follow me on Twitter and on steemit.com. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.